Hello, this is a Kawai GL10 grand piano, 153 centimeters long. That's just over 5 foot, and it's just come into stock, and it's new piano. Actually, it isn't new, but you wouldn't think that if you looked at it. It hasn't got a mark on it, and it's even got the covering to stop the brass tarnishing over here. So it's as new, and it's coming because the clients wanted to buy a longer Steinway grand piano from us, and this is coming part exchange. And we can get these, of course, new as well. So I just want to look at one feature on it, which I've mentioned before on a video. This difference between this and the GB1, Yamaha GB1, which is a competitor, and I much prefer this piano, mainly because the music stand slides like this, and so you can adjust the focal length, which I do when I'm playing, so I don't have to wear my glasses. But the GM10 sits in there, a bit lower down too, which I don't like so much, and also it's harder to tune because this bit is taller. So in every way I prefer this to the Yamaha competitor, which is a good piano apart from that, but this has that feature, and I think I prefer the tone on this one too. We'll look at that in a minute. Well, every other aspect of the piano is brand new, like brand new, and as I say, you wouldn't think it wasn't new. Really, this is perfect. Hasn't even got any dust on the soundboard. Kawai also put these protectors on the fall, which also the seller didn't take off, and neither has the one who's bought the piano from them. Now, looking at the action, these smaller Kawai grand pianos have quite a lot of plastic, basically, but very hard plastic, and obviously they've been using plastic since the 1970s and got very good standards, so that's nothing to worry about. The main thing is whether it can be regulated, whether it lasts for a long time, those kind of things. And these hammers are very high quality. That's really important. The hinge here is obviously important, and that seems to be very good on the Kawai, so they're as good as any other grand piano, I believe, in terms of the quality of action. Now, looking at the hammers here, there's not been a lot of use. It has had some use, and it's a little bit indistinct, the marking on the hammer. I think that when a quarter pedal has been used, so you get sort of, rather than just 3 markings of the 3 strings, got several markings. So I'm going to mark that again just to see what's happening. So just place some carbon paper, and now we're going to put the action back in and play the piano, and that'll mark the hammers. So now we've marked the hammers, we can see that most of them are certainly hitting cleanly, and that means that all 3 strings are being hit at the same time. We mentioned before, especially if pianos are refaced, sometimes they need a lot of work to straighten the hammers up. There's one here that's perhaps a bit to the left and could do with centering, but that's not really that important compared to if it's not hitting all 3 strings cleanly. And a new piano, you'd expect it to be fine, but not always is, unfortunately. So it's worth checking that. And right to the top there, they're all hitting in the middle of cleanly in the middle. And the bass hammers too, so that's very encouraging. And now we've marked the hammer, we can also check it's travelling correctly for the unicorda, and that is absolutely spot on. You can see that's where it's hitting at the moment, and it should be in between on a different part of the hammer hitting the string for the unicorda, but it's not been voiced for the unicorda, so there's no difference at the moment between the two. Perhaps a little difference because it's only just catching the left hand string, but the main difference is made when the felt is softer. Of course, over time this gets harder where you're playing it, so the other is automatically softer, but when the piano's new, you need to voice it in between, and a lot of concert pianists like it voiced as well for the unicorda, so it's a common thing to do. So then when you use the unicorda, there's a nice contrast, so that's something that needs to be done. So that's a Kawai GL10, 5 foot long and really new. Though it was actually in part exchange, that we sold a Steinway grand, and this came in part exchange. The strings aren't really long enough to produce a good tone, in the sense of if you want a piano to be better than an upright, it needs to be at least 5'6" long, and then it will be starting to get better than a normal upright piano. So, but having said that, the action on the grand is always more controlled than an upright, so if you're studying the piano, it's always a good idea to have a grand. Now this is very well voiced. Just some fine voicing to do, especially the unacorda, where there isn't any contrast at the moment. And there should be a contrast, so we shall build that in soon, and also do some fine voicing. The touch is generally very, very good. Might be able to refine it a little bit. Now, for a small grand piano, it has a wonderful tone. We do work together with Kawai, so we can get this piano new ourselves. Get it any colour that you like, or any colour that Kawai does. We also work with 4X, so they're our two preferred makes of new piano. There's other videos of this piano, especially contrasting it with the competitor, the Yamaha GB1, which is a good piano but doesn't have the sliding desk which this has. And as I mentioned before, I much prefer a sliding desk because you can alter the focal length, and then you can bring the music further forward. If you, like me, slightly short-sighted, want to take my glasses off, I can bring this forward, which I find very, very helpful, and I prefer reading without glasses, so that's very useful. Nice and mellow tone. That's to do with the hammers, and they have been voiced well. Of course, you can choose how mellow you want the hammers to be. They come hard originally, and you mellow them down to taste. But I like this tone very much. And the action, the key dip is good. Perhaps a little bit of refinement to make, which you'll find out as I'm playing it some more, but it's the first day I played it. Thank you very much for listening.